Good day and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Live the Fuel show. So this evening, I'm recording you guys a fresh, live, new Fuel Up Friday. To be transparent, we are recording on a Thursday. And this is our second ever new Fuel Up Friday for 2020. We'll be airing this, you'll be listening to this on Friday, January 10th, 2020. So welcome back. This is a new format we're testing out for our regular listeners and for our newer listeners. We've, the past 3.5 years, only ever really recorded a few solo episodes, maybe up to 5. Always rocking the long format with a guest co-host. And normally I want to start doing these live, streaming these to the Facebook world. But for some reason, Zoom does not want to synchronize with Facebook tonight. So I'm just going to hit record, rock out with you guys, get our Fuel Friday content out there, and then post this old school by just slapping the video up there. But anyway, welcome back to another Live Fuel show. So you guys will notice that the first Fuel Up Friday and now the second Fuel Up Friday last week and this week, I'm not actually putting on the professional intro and outro. One, I don't want to wait for my editor, my VA. Two, he's already got like 10 shows he's working on right now. Because I just uploaded a ton of content. I got 10 more to send them. So we're pretty stocked up. So also I'm just experimenting. I want to see if you guys end up liking it with or without the old-fashioned, I want to call old-fashioned, 3.5 years. Shout out to Anna Vocino, our voice artist and voiceover professional, author of the No Sugar, No Grains themed cookbook, Eat Happy, guest co-host of or regular co-host, I should say, of the Fitness Confidential podcast with Vinny Tortorich. But anyway, love Anna. She's always has helped me with my professional intros and outros for the show. We use her on all of the other shows, and I'll continue to be using that for now on the long format, 1 hour, on average 1 hour shows. So again, new format here this year, experimenting with a new Fuel Up Friday, hashtag Fuel Up Friday, or hashtag just Fuel Up, whatever hashtag you feel like using. So anyway, guys, I want to rock this new content because it's getting myself outside of my comfort zone. Last week, we aired it just to kind of announce it. I'm responding to some longtime fans and even some newer fans who had messaged me privately over Instagram, a couple times through Facebook. But I keep track. I pay attention. I reply. You can message me. I'm not some weirdo who just ignores you guys. I try and pay attention to most comments when I can, especially if they're positive. If you're a negative Nancy, piss off. I'm not going to listen to you or pay attention to you or give you any kind of recognition. So actually, that's a great point for today. For Fuel Up Friday, are you surrounding yourself with people that actually fuel you up? This was a theme in last week's show. I recommend if you haven't listened to it, go back last week and listen to that episode. And it was less than 30 minutes long. So again, testing this new short format for Fuel Up Friday. And I hit, like I normally do, a lot on who the people we are surrounding ourselves with. I love being transparent, by the way. So let's pause on that. Transparency, surrounding yourself with positive people. Let me tell you guys a little story here. I wasn't sure if I was going to bring this up on a podcast. I think I am now. I'm living in the moment. So New Year's Eve, 2019, just a few weeks back, because it's only January 9th as I'm recording this, January 10th when you hear this. Unless you're listening to us weeks from now. I got a text message from a guy I know here in our mountain biking community. If you're a newer listener, I'm a big cyclist, big mountain biker. I started my foundation last year called Fuel Foundations, which is a nonprofit. I'm actually trying to support our local park here. Jordan Creek Single Track is the brand that I created for it. It's called Jordan Creek Park. You can call it whatever you want. It's managed by our county, our local county government, Lehigh County. Anyway, so I've always worked through the local on-site land manager there. We do trail building when we can. We try and keep the trails clear, keep people happy. I'm a huge mountain biker, and I have no problem putting in some sweat equity. There's not many people who do. And I want to know when I get down there, I can ride my bike and not have to worry about, running into a blown down tree or storm damage or whatever. I bought all the toys. I got the chainsaws. I got the tools. I got the gear. So why not help out? Well, anyway, fast forward the story. New Year's Eve, I get a text from the current president of the Valley Mountain Bikers. It's the local nonprofit. They're a chapter of IMBA, International Mountain Bikers Association. Maybe some of my fellow members, and I'm a paid member of mine real quick. I've been a member of IMBA, oh God, 10, 20 years. There's chapters all over this country to support local trail work and trail systems. And it's a great initiative. Some organizations are run great that report under IMBA. VMB became an IMBA member in the past, as far as a recognized local chapter in the past few years. So anyway, the long story short here is VMB actually works with Lehigh County on some parks. And locally here at my park, it's not my park, I'm just one of the people who love it. So our park, they don't officially take care of it. So they've helped influence a little bit of trail building here and there, especially when it comes time to host one of the annual races that happens here now for the past 4 years called the Flow at Jordan Creek. But really most of the season, the rest of the season, it's myself and a couple of fellow volunteers showing the love. Well, anyway, apparently the head honcho at the county reached out to him saying, hey man, what's been going on at Jordan? I guess one of his people found my Facebook page called Jordan Creek Single Track and saw us putting in our sweat equity. And long story short, this guy's a bit of a negative Nancy. I'm not even kidding you guys. Like literally, this guy messaged me from the club. He's not negative Nancy. He's actually a nice guy. Shout out to Lewis. He says, hey man, Bob might be giving you a call. He wants to find out what's been going on down in Jordan. And I was like, okay, well, I've always worked with the local on-site manager, but I guess this is the head honcho boss. And let me tell you, man, you have a choice in life on how you want to introduce yourself and connect up with people. Well, let me tell you about this guy. Not a positive person. Basically, as soon as he calls me on my phone, I'm traveling on business, mind you. So he's tapping into my personal life, my professional life. And I answer the phone, very positive. That's who I am. And he's like, oh, this is Bob Stifler, whatever his name is, Lehigh County. Right off the bat, just dives right on the call and basically says, listen, you need to cease and desist on everything you're doing down at our park. I'm like, well, hello and happy new year to you too. So it's like, wow, who's this guy? Big douche nozzle. And if this gets back to him, I really don't care. Cause I'm like, listen, as a taxpayer, I pay your salary. So one, show a little bit more respect. Two, this is not how you start off a relationship. When I've already been working with your on-site manager, I've already signed off on your legal like waivers and everything else, whatever I'm down there making, showing some love to the park. But long story short, like this guy's just like all parent. He's one of these, I could say this because I was a government employee. He's somebody who lives in paranoia. He's chasing paperwork. This guy doesn't get out from behind the desk, clearly, because he doesn't know what's been going on down there. I've got sweet little old ladies who walk their dogs who thank us for our work because they can now safely walk down a trail that the county doesn't take care of because it's a remote single track. They never will take care of. But they're happy that I happened to trim it back a little bit so they weren't getting poisoned, because it was so overgrown that nobody was trimming these trails back. And we had a lot of rain this year. And that's a whole other podcast as far as what we do at Jordan Creek. But the point here is communication skills, okay? How are you talking to people? And I'll skip past this guy because I don't even want to talk anymore about him because I don't want to give him any more spotlight because he's just a douche nozzle. So the point here is that this is not how you don't get on the phone with somebody in the first 30 seconds to 60 seconds. You basically command and demand a cease and desist when I've already followed all the paperwork and responsibilities that your on-site guy, who is your employee, told me to do. And now all of a sudden you're all pissy pants because I don't reach out to you enough or no one told me to. And now you're finding out that we're doing all this work because nobody else is taking care of it. And now you want all to stop. And now you're demanding that I pass all of our projects through to VMB, who's our unofficial partner. Like he wouldn't actually say you're an official partner, but we're happy to work with that part. It's like all this extra steps. I'm like, dude, I don't have time for this, man. It's volunteer work. It's charity work. People needed help. The park needed help. We stepped in. We got it done. That's it. It's what we do. You want me to sign papers, check boxes. I will hand off all responsibilities to somebody else and then go take care of it. I don't have time for it, dude. I'm out here to change the world in a positive way, not get on the phone with a negative Nancy and get into some kind of weird political governmental BS. I don't care. So let's move past that. Point of today's show is communication skills. So I decided that with Fuel Fridays, depending on where I'm at in my mental state, and as you could tell, I might have been a little bit frustrated by that douche. Um, I just don't respect people who don't respect me. I truly believe in an age-old statement that you should do unto others, and expect the same. And I mean, yeah, treat people like you want to be treated. Clearly, you're not a happy person. Clearly, maybe the government has beaten you down a little bit in your professional career, and you're just never were psychologically or emotionally a happy person. But that's not how you want to inspire and thank good Samaritans who are trying to give back to the community. Oh, what a dick. Anyway, I'll move past that. Communication. Do unto others, right? Treat people as you want to be treated. There's so much negative energy right now. There's a lot of social media there's always social media hoopla. Let's be real. I haven't had a cable subscription in years. I mean, before I met my wife, I didn't even have a TV. I got rid of the TV after my years of firefighting. I could care less because it's just all negative crap. It's all, commercialized commercials. I mean, selling you something. I mean, even now to this day, we have Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Video or whatever, because it comes with Amazon Prime, whatever it is. I don't care. I mean, if my wife wants me to sit down and relax, I will. We'll sit down, I'll watch a movie with her, whatever. Right now, it is about to turn 9 p.m. tonight, and I'm in here talking to you guys, setting up a show because this is what I care about, giving back. So that's the point of today's show is communication, giving back some tips. I studied speech communication in college. You don't need to go to college to study speech communication. Okay. It's really, really simple. We all need to treat each other with mutual respect. And a lot of times, if you treat somebody else with mutual respect, even if they weren't ready for it, they'll appreciate that. If they don't, they're a douche. But hopefully over time, you can get through to these people. And I truly believe in putting in the reps in life, right? In business, fitness, our daily lifestyles, our professional lifestyles, our personal lifestyles, our love relationships, everything worth having takes time. You have to put in the reps. So it goes back to communication. I would like to believe that this guy that I brought up earlier here, he and I can hopefully build a more respectful relationship. We'll see in the new year. It's the winter time right now, so I care more about skiing. I'm not out mountain biking in that park at all. I've pretty much signed off the next few months. I put in probably close to 50 hours of just volunteer time when I had a free moment to pop there on the weekend and clear a trail or help get things ready for a kid's race or whatever. It's like, no one pays me to do that. I just do it. My fellow volunteers, shout out to Brian and Christian. They listen to the show. They do it. We don't care. We just love biking, and we love seeing people's smiles in the face when they're ripping trail, man. It's good times. So those people, Christian, Brian, a lot of other mountain bikers, we all have a mutual respect. You come up on a fellow two-wheeler ripping trail, man. It's like high fives. You give the head nod, whatever it may be. Maybe you're bunny hopping off of a log drop or something like that. Everybody's like, yeah, man, hit it, ripping it. So just like when I'm skiing. And again, even with skiing, it's like I got buddies who snowboard. I got buddies who ski. I could care less what kind of equipment you're on. You're outside. You're having fun. You're smiling. You're living life to the fullest, right? We're all trying to find a better way to, in my words, live the fired up epic life. And part of that, fuel that you need to put on the fire is learning how to communicate with your fellow man. That includes man, woman, whatever you are. Communication, people. I've taught this to businesses. I've coached this to sales professionals. I've trained this in marketing webinars. I've learned corporate speak. I've learned farmer speak as a kid. I learned governmental firefighting speak. Whatever your linguistics of choice is, long story short, it's communication. And you have to learn how to communicate with each other. I'm first guilty of it, guys. I brought up on a couple random shows. There's no such thing as perfection. Throw that word out. but I'll go ahead and throw this little fun tagline out. I'm not perfect. I've joked around on the shows about how my now wife, we got married St. Patrick's Day 2019, so we're not even a year married yet. But I've talked about it on other shows when we were dating. She had broken up with me right around almost the first year of dating because my head was so far up my ass. Wasn't willing to open up, let people in. I've been closed off for a while. I had to soften my exterior. I was worried about being vulnerable. And then, now years later, I realized, holy crap, like vulnerability, when learned and executed properly, actually is considered attractive and actually quite sexy. It's not just that. It's like you actually allow yourself to be a human being. You let people, communicate with you. Take a little risk, people. Let people in. But so many of us have this wall, this closed exterior. And over the 3.5 years now, going on 4 years of podcasting, I can actually thank this platform for helping drop that off and break those barriers down. And that's why I wanted to kind of share for today's Fuel Friday, right? It's like, okay, man, how can I fuel your fires, right? Something as simple as basic communication. And again, this extends into the electronic space too. Okay, I saw it today where my one client's assistant, emails a request in, and I'm like, okay, yada yada yada. They need this, whatever. It's gonna get something gonna go up in their marketing tomorrow, whatever. And I write back, I'm like, okay, great. Make sure you send over all the content to my team. Here's the email. Don't forget the graphic. And this is a millennial, but the millennial. No offense to millennials, guys, but I mean, obviously, you're part of my target audience. So if you are a millennial hearing this, you'll probably laugh at it because I was like, I know this girl's younger, but I was like, she replies back. She's like, well, I don't know what a graphic is. I was like, what? Like, I'm 42 years old. I'm not old, but I'm Gen X. I mean, what the hell you talk about? You don't know what a graphic is? Like a graphic, an image, a picture, a graphical representation of something, an image. Like right now, when people watch this on YouTube, we're watching, obviously animation, a video. But if I took a still of this, a still shot or a selfie, that's an image, aka a graphic. And I'm hinting at a graphic because they want to do a promotional post in their marketing. And I said, okay, well, make sure, you don't pay me to create graphics for you. You have to provide the content. So get me whatever promotional graphic you want to use for the posts, and we'll get it up in your social media. I just thought it was hilarious. But instead of pausing to think before she responds, and this goes in verbal communication too, she just sends that reply. And I was like, really? So it's turned into 3 to 4 things. Now I have to teach her what a graphic is. And nowadays, come on, people, Google it. You don't know what a graphic is? Just Google it. But instead, you made yourself look like an ignorant idiot because you don't know what a graphic is. And I mean, I don't have much respect for her anyway, but I'm like, come on, guys. If you want people to respect you more, you have to give respect back too. So don't waste my time, right, in an email by responding saying you know what a graphic is when you could just Google it. I mean, if you really don't know what a graphic is, come on. I call BS on that. I just can't. I'm sorry. Get out of here. You don't know what a graphic is. Fuck you. Shut the fuck up. You're just being a lazy piece of shit. Come on, people. All right. How the hell you don't know what a graphic is? I'm going to lose my shit. It just drives me crazy. So this is why I'm having fun with this new format on Friday, because I'm like, really, I get to lose my shit all by myself in my office. Because I'm like, come on, dude. Like, what do you mean you don't know what a graphic is? Anyway, Google it, for God's sakes. YouTube University at it, whatever. You can go watch a movie on YouTube teaching you what a graphic is. Anyway, the point is that, like, for example, so many people are so fast to hit reply or respond. They're afraid to pause like I did just now. Was that so painful? I paused like I did just again. It was 1 second, maybe 2 seconds. I paused to breathe. Maybe I'm pausing for drama. Maybe I'm pausing because I don't want to burp. Whatever. The point is, people are just firing stuff out of their mouths, firing stuff out of their fingertips, whether it's verbal communication or electronic communication. They're not slowing down. They're not pausing. I see it in emails all the time. People don't proofread anything anymore. if you are doing anything electronically, let's pause on electronic communication here. If you're going to like rant about something, pause, maybe save it as a draft. A lot of email platforms, especially Gmail nowadays, it auto saves it as a draft as you're doing it. So if you just pause for 2 seconds, it's already saving it. You could just minimize that, like push it aside and go work on another email and then come back to it and then reread it. Here's a crazy thought. Reread it, proofread it, and say, okay, is that still what I want to say? Is this the right messaging? Is this the right tone? Okay. Now, granted, verbally, as you're hearing me right now or watching and hearing me on YouTube or on Facebook, it is, you can see my mannerisms. That's different. But a lot of people don't understand the power of audio. That's why I love podcasting. So, but in the written form or in the electronic written form, you don't have that advantage. So you got to really look at what you're writing, look at what you're typing before you send it. So that's another big part of my communication tips is let's kind of slow it down a little bit, okay? Because there's too many quick replies happening. This happens on texting. This happens on emails, and we're all guilty of it. Again, I've done it. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. I've made these mistakes. This is one thing I've learned from other mentors and other coaches. Eventually, you know enough about certain subjects where it's time to start sharing this information. Okay, let's pass the wisdom on. And I know the point of this episode is kind of basic stuff, but guys, gals, whoever's hearing this, like this is basic stuff, but you need to be reminded of it. Okay, communication, not just in a professional space. Okay, we just got done talking about emails. Heck, blogging. I can't stand blogging. That's why I don't write blogs. Okay. I do the audio, I do the podcast thing. We voice transcribe the content. My VA sticks into a blog article, done. I might put up a blog a couple times a year on the actual blog section on LiveTheFuel.com. It's not a fan of writing. Now, granted, I had to become a fan of writing this past year, right? You know, the book is coming. I try not to talk about it too much but I do it because it kicks myself in the ass. I'm going to be working on it later tonight. I got to get the editing done so I can hand it to my editor. I set a goal. Got this thing done and hand it off to the editor by January 20th because I'm going on vacation later this month, January 20th to 27th. We're going to go skiing in Colorado. So any of my listeners are in Colorado. We'll be out ripping up Vail and probably a couple surrounding mountains. So feel free to reach out, hang out, hit the Vail Village, live it up. So again, written word, audio, listening, watching. Slow down, pause, think before you speak, take a deep breath. It's okay. People aren't going to be too freaked out by it. If anything, they might be appreciative. There's just too many people just cutting right to the chase. And sometimes speed is effective, and I get it in certain situations, but I can't tell you how many times in my own relationship, you know, I need to pause. And if I've got like 5 things going on, and Kristen, my wife, will just say something at a long time, and I'm like, I can blow my top. I'm like, whoop, take a deep breath. Not her fault. You're doing 5 things at the same time. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Right? This is the love of your life. Okay, deep breath. All right, what's up, babe? What do you need? That's one of my big goals here in 2020. Last week I was talking about how I don't have resolutions. It's not resolutions, it's goals. It's okay. How can I keep improving? And for me, I got so much going on. I'm guilty of it. I get overtaxed, and I don't want my communication to fall too low. Got to stay on top of that stuff. So it's learning to take that deep breath, take that pause, execute with thought. Sometimes you need to pause, take a deep breath. I'm going to keep saying this over and over again. It's not rocket science. Take a deep breath. Pause. Think of the words that are going to come out of your mouth. Pause, meaning save your email as a draft. Especially if you're venting on somebody. Somebody can send you something really stupid. Pause. If you want, write it out. And then, heck, if you want, take their email out of the to field and then email it to yourself. And then you read it as if you're going to read it. Let's take extra 5 seconds, 10 seconds out of your life. And then you read it and you're like, ooh, do I really want to send that? Do I really want to push that over? Yeah, maybe I can edit that. Maybe I don't even want to send it. Maybe after 5, 10 seconds of delay, I'm probably good. Yeah, maybe don't need to send it at all. Delete, move on. right? There's a lot of times in verbal situations and email, electronically, virtually, social media especially, people are just firing responses without even thinking. Pause, take a deep breath, think about it. Is it really worth it? Is it worth the drama? I can't stand drama. I can't stand drama TV. My wife loves it. Loves it. Bachelor, Bachelorette. I admit it. I'll sit down. I'll watch a couple with her, but I'm like, for God's sakes, that's not real, people. It's not reality. But we all keep getting sucked in. I don't know what it is. And those people definitely do not know how to communicate. If anybody's trying to emulate those people, you do not have a chance of success in love, romance, or otherwise. Do not replicate those shows. I'm telling you, that's a scary. Oof. Man, that just freaks me out. Gives me chills. So anyway, guys, that's the theme of the show today. Fuel Up Friday is work on your communication skills. You can start with just the verbals. You can start with your emails, whatever you think is going to impact you positively. I'm going to tell you, this is huge. Whether I was in the corporate space, the startup space, I was in the IT space, I was in the finance space, I've worn a lot of hats in my life. Firefighting, federal government, whatever. Communication is important because when communication falls short, problems happen. You put up these walls and people are afraid to talk to you. Now communication fails completely because there's no communication happening. You can't have that. When I was on the fire line, firefighting, you can't have that, dude. You got to trust each other. Even if you're pissed off at that dude and you had a bad day yesterday, or that guy farted in your face, or I'm not kidding you, that literally happens. You get down and dirty when you're firefighting. It's like people are just idiots. It's like, dude, the next day, got to take a deep breath. And like, all right, man, we're back on the fire line. We're risking our lives together. We got to stay on top of our communication. Got to keep our essay up. I talked about that before. There's going to be a chapter in the book on that, situational awareness. Got to stay on point. All right. Got to keep the communication flowing. Got to keep your head on a swivel. This is all part of life. So take that into your weekends. Thanks for listening. We'll see how this Fuel Up Friday theme grows on a weekly basis. This is completely off the cuff stuff. I'm just coming at you real time and trying to keep the content fresh. And obviously, as I said last week, the regular guest co-hosted episodes are going to keep rocking. I got 10 to 20 shows in the tank. Plenty of content coming up. Actually, I'll use this to close it out because we're already at 27 minutes. I got Henry Yoshida coming up on a new release coming soon. Oh man, I've got the guy Graham Zimmerman from the Wildfire podcast. That was a great podcast. I really had a fan of that. He's coming up after that. I've got I can't wait to air this. Dom D'Agostino, the keto scientist himself. They'll be coming after that. He's 3 shows out right now. So that's, keto, oxygenation toxicity, nutritional fasting, and more with that guy. Dude, he and I geeked out. After that, I got Laura Sheetal, former burlesque, true transparency, safety. This dude, we geeked out about aloe. Crazy, man. Dr. Mike Haley. Then I got Adriana Gavazzoni. I got Dr. Kraus. She actually helps firefighters and stuff. Big geek about gut health. So many more, man. I got another whole list over here. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Again, no professional intro, no professional outro in this episode. I'm going to remind you guys for my final words of the show is, again, for Fuel Up Fridays, I just want to keep it short, hit hard, hit fast, give you a couple topics to focus on and move on. So for today, it's verbal communication, written communication, electronic communication. Pause, take a deep breath, think about it, proofread it, move on. That's the message. All right. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to fuel your health, your business, and your lifestyle. You too could live the fuel. And we'll talk to you guys again soon.